Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's your boys from For Those With Good Taste. I'm Matt. He's Lenny. And we are bringing you another top 5 right here in Good Taste Studios. But that's not all we're doing. We're bringing in a very special guest for this top 5.
Calling in the lefty.
Our man putting in a call to the bullpen. HeyArcher is in the studio, guys, and he's dropping his top 5 along with us. So,
For those with good taste.
welcome, Archer.
Happy to be here. I was expecting you to say D's here, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, wait, that's the other guy. So, yeah.
Oh, dude, we have more than one guest now. This is awesome.
Same, but different.
Same.
A little bit. I mean, the height difference is unreal.
It's drastic.
But we've got some rules to get into for this top 5 before we can just go ahead and start wheeling off names willy-nilly. So, Len, do you want to take us through our rules for this version of our top 5?
I can do that, Matt. So we are going to be doing top 5 movie franchises, however, with a twist. So in the top 5, we are going to have 5 different genres of movies. Correct me if I miss any of these.
That's okay.
We've got comedy. We've got horror. We've got animated. Then we've got sci-fi / fantasy. And we're going to round things out with blockbuster. We're going to select one movie from each of those categories to round out our top 5. Probably going to hear us talk about a million movies along the way. But if you could, at the end of all of this, let us know whose top 5 you like the best, and let us know what your top 5 would be.
Yeah, you got to hit us in the comments and let us know as you're following along. So I think it's only right that we kick this top 5 off and have you start us off, Lenny. What do you think?
Me?
Yeah, we're going to kick it off.
What a surprise.
Yeah. Got a nice little surprise for you. We're going to start off with our top franchise for the comedy genre.
Fast and Furious, I know.
That would be really funny. If I just look, that actually would have been smart by me to get it out of the way now. Because that is the hardest part with some of this, is because you can mix and match genres a little bit.
Yes.
It's also hard having me go first because, like I said, I have a list, but I don't have them in order.
Oh, it's a fluid list.
I would have liked to have heard from you guys first to kind of gauge my answer off of it.
No, we're not doing that.
So can I start by saying this? When I first thought of the idea for this top 5, when I thought of the comedy genre, what my first movie that came to my mind was, that I didn't land on this one, but I, for a very long time, thought it would be, was The Hangover.
Okay.
Because again, we were talking earlier about Superbad. I think this is kind of the same era in my life where I was in high school, Hangover comes out, one of the best comedies I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. The issue is the other two. I like the second, but the third one's pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
You also have Zach Galifianakis dropping the N-word. I always like to mention that because he never got canceled for it.
Yeah.
But so that was my initial one. I've pivoted. And there is one other honorable mention, but I don't want to say it too early. We can get into maybe a few of those after the segment here. But I am going to go with Jumanji as my top comedy franchise.
Whoa, that's out of left field.
How many
I know it
movies
is.
Are there now in there? 2?
4?
You're counting the
There's
Robin
4.
Williams.
Oh, there's 4. Yeah, there's 4.
You're counting
4.
Robin Williams.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the...
It is.
It's within canon,
It is
you
within
find,
canon.
right? So,
And we're counting that, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So that's within canon. So I think the first movie is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. I think The Rock has done a pretty good job of recapturing. The Rock and Kevin Hart have done a good job with the reboots, especially the first one. And even into the second one, while it was a little played out with some of the jokes, I thought, again, it recaptured some of the great stuff and still modernized it, which is something that I think a lot of franchises don't do now very well, is like they either go too far into accommodating the future people or too far into accommodating the past. And I think the Rock movies do a little bit of both with them.
Yeah.
I would also honorable mention to the franchise mention Zathura, which is a Dax
Shepard.
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
I like where your head's at.
Dax Shepard franchise. Kristen Stewart also starring in it with PETA from the Hunger Games. I can't remember his name.
Sure,
right
we'll
now.
say Peter from the Hunger Games.
But
I
that
don't
guy,
remember his
yeah.
name either.
So yeah, my first one to kick it off under the comedy franchise is Jumanji.
That's a good one, man.
I know.
I'm not gonna knock you because that did come out of nowhere.
I know it did.
But that's a good job on that one. So we're gonna follow that up with you, Steve.
So to piggyback off something you said there, for my list, I said that majority of the movies had to be good in the franchise. So if something had a really strong start, but then fell off, I couldn't count it.
Can't wait till you say Star Wars later.
Oh, it'll be in there.
Whoa, take it easy. No spoilers. What are we doing?
Yeah. But
So Jesus.
so
I'm pretty sure you outed me on F9 already.
I
On
did,
Fast
yeah.
and Furious already. So get the fuck out of here.
Anybody who's watching this outed you on F9,
but
dude.
Star Wars
Seriously.
for the two of you.
No,
Get
dude,
out of here.
whatever.
Dude.
so
Asshole.
actually, an honorable mention was my number one actually on this list was the Pink Panther franchise,
Wow.
not the Steve Martin one.
With Jason Statham?
What
He was in
That's not even the same thing.
Pink Panther.
Was he?
in the
The
Steve
newer
Martin
ones.
No, I've never watched this. Peter Sellers, the original OG French.
But I'm just saying. Like,
Oh, so you
Pink
said
Panther.
no to Steve Martin and you went original.
Original.
Jesus,
Yeah,
Steve.
Yeah, because those movies, hitters, all of them, except the first one's kind of but all the rest.
But you
after-
have to include all of them.
No, but that's what I said. Majority of the movies.
Okay.
I'm going by majority of the movies.
You're
Okay.
going by average.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my honorable mention. If you have
Okay.
not watched Pink Panther Strikes Again, you should. It's amazing.
Wow.
I will have to watch that now just
Dude,
to
he's
rank
an amazing
this.
salesperson because
Yeah.
he's got me locked in already, dude.
So-
But you can't. I mean, Jason Statham was in Pink Panther.
No, I'm not
Like, I
that
got a
sure.
lot
Yes,
of
he
weird
was.
looks
I don't know.
from the side of the table. I'm just saying he was in it.
Outside of Beyonce, I had no idea who was in any of
So-
the Pink Panthers.
So I'm gonna pull off my list to give my number one comedy franchise. Believe it or not, 2 on my list were action movies that cross into comedy.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with Lethal Weapon
Respect.
Ooh,
because I feel
okay.
like 3 out of the 4 are very strong. Have you laughing a lot of the time?
Which 3 out of the 4?
1, 2, and 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making
If anybody
sure.
said 3,
just literally making sure.
No, because I think the 4th movie,
I was gonna be really mad if you didn't include the 4th.
the 4th movie stands alone
It's
as a
hilarious.
hilarious movie.
Okay.
Chris Rock is so fucking funny in that
And
movie.
with the cell phones, and it gets you with the cell phones. Remember, you have to do the one. Oh, I did it wrong. Gotta do it again. Like, great. So,
I'm with you. I'm
so
with you.
Lethal Weapon, I will give out my comedy because it can cross lines. And
Yeah, that's not a bad one. That's, actually
That's
a really good
perfect.
one.
Actually,
Yeah.
that's surprising.
Yeah.
I'm glad I heard that because obviously, like, there's like traditional comedies that I'm sure we all kind of racked our brains through.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
Matt
it was
went
very
traditional,
difficult.
right?
Yeah, I don't think I went traditional, actually. So my honorable mention, which was very difficult for me to not choose as my actual pick, was the Ace Ventura franchise.
You're maybe the
It's
biggest
hard.
Jim Carrey fan I know.
Yeah, I love Jim Carrey. And to me, the Ace Ventura Pet Detective, and then you followed up with When Nature Calls.
Yeah. Strong.
Even as I'm speaking right now, I am having trouble not making that my number one.
Is there
So-
a third one?
I think there's a son. I know the Son of the Mask.
Yeah.
I think there's a son of Ace Ventura.
The Son of the Mask was Jamie Kennedy though,
Yeah.
and that was really bad.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to acknowledge that, but I don't think they did a third Ace Ventura.
Okay.
Let us know in the comments if I'm wrong
Yeah.
on that.
2 movies, 2 strong movies.
What I ended up actually picking was something that I based on a franchise that I enjoyed from start to finish, and I don't know if a lot of people feel the same way, but I can always watch this, is the Austin Powers franchise.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
From International Man of Mystery to The Spy Who Shagged Me to rounding it out with Goldmember, which I don't think you can make that franchise now just because of some of the things that are said.
No.
But it's
Smoking a pancake,
smoking a pancake,
blishing a bong.
bong in a blip. He said, "No, then there is no pleasing you, Austin Powers and Faja." One of the best comedy franchises out there, and single-handedly probably made Mike Myers' career.
Yeah.
I mean, he never had to do anything else outside of that. Basically, again, right? Like that was substantial. I mean, Wayne's World came before it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
There's some other obvious ones I thought deserved some like maybe a little bit of credit. American Pie was one that came
That's a
to
good one.
mind
It's a classic.
for me. One that not only has the 4 main movies, but has managed to branch out into a million straight to Netflix
Oh, yeah.
or DVD.
Alpha House,
Yeah,
Beta,
Naked
Beta
Mile,
House, yeah.
like any of those
Didn't
ones.
mind that one, actually.
Yeah, I
Naked
thought
Mile's a good
some
one.
of the they had a Bandcamp one that was okay.
Yep.
Like they actually had some decent
Mhm.
like spin-offs. So that was a pretty high up one on there because I think quality across all of them was, relatively standard, not great, but
Correct.
like pretty good. Another one that popped into my head was Scary Movie.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Because of what it did for a whole genre of
Yep.
comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally, parody comedy wasn't really a
Started
thing
from that.
until
Yep.
Scary Movie did it.
And Scary Movie did it well.
Sorry, say that something?
Like parody comedy like that.
No, because Hot
What-
Shots.
Okay, that's one.
Yeah.
What else we got, though?
There's the one with Leslie Nielsen, like Spy Hard and
The one with
No, I thought
Leslie
you were gonna
Nielsen.
say Naked Gun.
Naked Gun.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, Airplane is kind of a
Airplane.
parody movie, but it's not.
Maybe
It's not
parody
branded as
horror.
such.
Parody horror probably.
Well, okay, attacking an entire genre
Yeah.
in the way they did. Well, so yeah, Well, maybe it's genre parody because after that you got like superhero movie. Remember?
Right.
Oh, and they
you
did the
got, like,
300 movie.
Yeah, like you got a lot of
Yeah.
those where they would just take a genre and flip it on.
Yeah.
Movie 42, I feel like, was another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were a couple. I don't know if you guys had any other ones that kind of stood out to you.
So the other two, because I was struggling on a fifth. The other two I had locked down, Bad Boys,
Okay.
but I couldn't say that because I still have not seen the third one.
It's great.
Okay. I haven't seen the
I
third
haven't
one
heard any
either,
bad things
but
about
okay.
Legitimately good.
I haven't heard
Yeah,
about it.
Lenny is very vouch for them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't love the like some of the angles they took on the main
Right.
storyline, but as far as just like
Movie.
a third in a trilogy and
Yeah.
it was 10 years after the last
Right.
one, yeah, it's good.
Friday.
Yeah, that was
God,
on my.
I'm so
that
glad
was
you
in
said
there.
that because that was my third honor or my second
When
honorable
I-
mention for this.
When I brought that up to other people, though, they felt as though it kind of diminishes as you go through the series.
Oh man, so the first one is a classic.
Yeah.
Next Friday
It's
just
really
introduces a whole new character and a whole new
Yeah.
look at the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then Friday After Next, if you don't like Cat Williams
Yeah.
in Friday After Next,
It's yeah.
jump off a mountain.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
Terry
people,
Crews, everything.
I think people who don't like Friday After Next probably didn't see Friday After Next.
Probably.
They
yeah,
just
that
kinda
makes a
hopped
lot
on
of
It's
sense
board.
kind of
Yeah.
because
I get
that
it.
is a good movie.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be debatable. So
Yeah.
that's a good pick, Steve.
That basically we've covered basically all of the ones I had written down.
Oh, dude.
I did have Pitch Perfect written down as well.
I'm not surprised. Let's just say that.
What's wrong with that as a comedy
I didn't
option,
say,
dude?
Listen,
It's
man,
good fucking
I just know
movies.
you love yourself some Skylar Aston.
And some singing.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
What do you got?
So we're gonna move on to the next genre for top 5, and that's gonna be horror.
Can we start with somebody else on this one?
We can.
Thanks, dude.
You know what? I'll step on the nail here. And
Painful.
the reason why I'm okay with doing this is because this might have been my most difficult category.
Mhm.
I was back and forth on a couple of different ones. I fell on really just one that made sense for me because I've watched every single one up until I think their newest one. But Child's Play, Chucky.
Yeah.
For me, that got number one for horror just because from a horror perspective, it was a movie that genuinely had me scared as a kid.
Mm.
And I can still watch it now and I still get the heebie-jeebies.
The only thing that's so that one could have fit into comedy very easily as well.
because of where they've gone.
Yeah, and have you seen the newest one?
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Didn't see the newest one.
Passable.
Yeah, like as far as a take,
Free,
like a modern
modern
take
take,
on the idea, with like Alexa and everything
Yes.
becoming such a
Yes.
dominant part of our homes. I thought
Yes.
it was a good way to take the movie.
Mhm.
I like the new one. I like the pick as well. I do think like there's a substantial quality drop in the middle.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as you get Bride of Chucky, I think is where it stops for me because I actually enjoyed that movie.
And then
Afterwards,
the Seed.
it's pretty awful.
Yeah.
But like they're really funny after that point because they
Yes.
lean more into being
A comedy,
Comedy,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's why it made my list was it is something that even if as terrible as Seed is, it's chips to me. If it's on, I'll probably leave it on and won't bother
well,
changing it.
because he's really funny, and the voice actor who played Chucky is also
Yeah.
Nails
really,
it.
really
Nails
solid,
it.
yeah.
But one that fell into my honorable mentions, but it didn't really get close, was the Saw franchise. One of those that I didn't follow along as they were coming out. I actually got to binge them as they were already out, and one of the franchises that I enjoyed, but another one of those where it starts off really hot and you
Right.
can only really take it in one direction after that.
I think 1 and 2 are good, and then I really like Jigsaw.
Yeah.
When they brought it back,
They brought
with
it back,
Jigsaw.
yep.
But everything in between those 3, 4, and 5, I think would be them. I
Mhm.
think are pretty bad.
I think they do a good job of pulling it back with 6 because 6 kind of sets it over where you're like, oh, okay, now this all kind of makes sense. But was one of my honorable mentions.
The new one's not that great.
Yeah.
So
This one's hard. Going with the comedy type thing, I will say that my honorable mention, Hostel.
Okay.
I love Hostel 2
Mhm.
because I thought they took a lot of like comedic angles.
Turns.
I don't remember Hostel 2 as well.
Yeah, well, the first one.
I remember
really good.
that.
First
very
one's really
well,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hostel 2
The eye
is
hanging out of
it's
that.
very
is
niche.
something.
Yeah.
And then the Achilles tendon.
Oh,
cut.
it gets graphic
Yeah.
really quick.
I'm gonna choose if I'm going based on most of the movies are good, and I feel like most people can get by most of the movies. I'm gonna choose Addams Family because on iTunes it's listed under horror.
That's fine.
I didn't know that until
that's
I
a-
was
I
scrolling.
accept it
As
as
a
horror.
damn loophole, sir. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I
that's
mean,
okay.
like it is a little bit of, but that's what some of these
That's what
categories
this
are
is about.
good for. Like,
Correct.
yeah,
It's a Halloween movie.
yeah.
I was going to say Alien because Alien 1 and 2 are
yeah.
fantastic.
Mhm.
3 not so much. Resurrection, debatable.
But it does a lot when 1 and 2 can withstand time.
Yeah,
yes,
big time.
Important. Same
and
thing with
still scare the crap
Predator
out of me.
1.
So Predator,
yeah.
It was hard for me to put Predator on this list because outside of the first, like
Because
the
they
first
keep
one,
going.
they just keep going, and you're like, all right, well,
Yeah.
we have Adrian Brody doing a
Yeah.
terrible job. Maybe we draw the line.
But so when you do Alien, do you include like AVP? Do you
That's-
like Requiem's really bad?
So that's
You know?
where like
that's a collaboration. I don't
but-
think that's part of the.
But the thing
It
is,
is part of the
I was
franchise, I
trying to
guess.
go based on what stays in canon.
Mhm.
Okay.
Those I don't think
Okay.
are canon.
That's fair.
Sure.
Well, to the original.
Sure.
So yeah, that's where it gets hard. For some of them, I'm like, if you would have just stopped.
Yeah.
I will spoil this part. Terminator is not on my list because if Terminator would have just stopped, it would have
Stop
hands down.
where?
I mean, Dark Fate's good though.
3.
So.
I would have given you 3. Like I would have been like, you know
So
what, you tried.
three's
But
three's passable.
Dark Fate's good.
That's the last one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind that movie.
Okay.
Pretty good.
But here's the thing: there's so much crap
Sure,
before.
Salvation.
Salvation.
And Genesis.
Genesis.
Yeah.
So
And
they
then
would have
with
just
TV
stopped.
series
But
though.
would you agree?
yeah,
would you
TV
agree
series.
that Salvation and Genesis are more so products of them just trying to ride a hot streak with a certain
Well,
actor?
they were
actress?
making movies to make money.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Salvation.
Okay. All right.
Salvation. Christian Bale's coming off Batman. He's just hottest. One of
Other
the hottest
guys
names
coming
in
from
Hollywood.
Avatar.
Yeah. Like they're both 2 of the hottest names out at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Strap them into a franchise everybody loves, guaranteed to make money. It didn't.
Yeah.
Now let me ask Addams Family. You have a new movie coming out from Addams Family.
Yeah.
Could if that's bad, does that just tank the?
No, because I think the original 2 were that good, but then the last one that just came out, the last animated one,
The animated one.
wasn't bad.
It
Yeah.
wasn't.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
So even that, like, even if the 4th one is terrible, it won't pull down.
That's
the
why
other
that's a
3.
solid pick because at this point they've done so well with the first 3 that they've released that it really could go either way. On
Yeah, I'll
the
be
fourth
honest. Like with it's not a franchise I remember all that much from, but I do. It does stand out to me more as a comedy, but I like
Correct.
that you used it as a horror to fit it in. As far as like stuff for me, like obviously, I wanted to ask this first: is it harder to come from horror not being your preferred genre, or from my perspective, when it is one of my favorite genres, and now I have to like choose from?
Well,
a list
at this point, if you don't say the one that I know you should say, we're shutting this whole thing down right now.
I mean, like this is where I pigeonholed myself a little bit. There's two categories I probably pigeonholed myself in. And this one is one of them, but I really want to stress, like, so Halloween, I'll just get it out of the way.
Yeah, that's
has
right.
got to be my number one.
You can't see it, but I'm holding a pitchfork to his foot right
Well,
now.
it's on my list, and I didn't choose because I thought you would choose.
I have to, because it's the first horror movie that ever scared me. Like
Yeah.
Halloween H2O is like the first movie I remember scaring the shit out of me. Like,
Yeah.
and Michael Myers was like, if I walked into dark rooms, I was like looking in the corners for a
Yeah.
white mask. Like, I have to put him there. But the same thing we're talking about, the struggle I have is the quality across all of the movies.
And we've talked about that
is
recently.
hard. It's
Yeah.
it's hard to justify. But
Yeah.
Halloween H2O is not a great movie, but that's the one that like introed me. It was deep into the series.
Yeah.
So, and the new one was good. So
Yeah.
I can say that. But what would have actually been? Sorry,
No, go ahead.
What would have actually what I wanted to kind of go with if I hadn't have put myself over a year of doing these episodes as Halloween having to be it? Scream would have been
Yeah.
So that's
my
what
movie.
I was just about to say. Although you've pigeonholed yourself, I know that you think from a franchise perspective that Scream is probably one of the better horror franchises just because of what they've
1,
done.
2, and 4 are awesome.
I've heard him say that a couple times.
3 is not great, but 1, 2, and 4 are great. Not only from a horror movie standpoint, they're well written for horror. Great lead actors involved,
Yeah.
people that like they're relatable, they're iconic, like all of this stuff. But also just it's a commentary on a genre.
Yeah.
Like Scary Movie gets made basically off of Scream, right? But Scream was already a mockumentary, almost already kind of a
Right.
commentary
Yeah.
on the horror
Slasher,
genre, on the slasher genre, and Scary Movie just took it another level above
It added
right?
a dimension, yeah.
But yeah, like I think Scream just deserves to be very high up there, and if it's not up there on like your favorite horror movies, like you're missing out, man. Because,
No, that's a really good pick.
they're great cast. Great, really well written, suspenseful. Yeah, I couldn't say enough good things. But Halloween, because of the character Michael Myers, I think would have to always be my number one.
When making this list, did you guys feel like there needed to be a certain number of good movies in order for you to add it? So I know we've mentioned a couple where like 1, 2, and 4 are good, but did there come a point where you're like, all right, maybe 1 and 2 are good or 1 and 3 are good, but it makes it difficult to actually put that as your pick?
It had to be majority.
Yeah.
It had to be 2/3 more.
Okay.
That's where Halloween's so tough, because I don't even think it's majority or good.
No.
Well, the reason why I asked that is because I know that you have said that first one is hands down one of the best, right?
But that's where,
it has to be,
that's where when I was doing mine, I was based on are the movies I'm counting all canon amongst themselves, despite the fact that it's a larger franchise.
Okay.
So with Halloween, in this case, 1, 2 are
it's only one, and then 2018, and then the 2 that are going to follow are going to be canon.
So if you're going even based on that,
they're 2 really high quality.
Good movies.
Yeah, but I think Halloween 2 in itself was good.
Also said H2O.
Halloween H2O is good. Also, first Rob Zombie is pretty good. Yeah. The second Rob Zombie is the worst of the entire franchise, I think, and that's where it becomes difficult, right? Yeah. A couple obvious ones that I think need to be mentioned, like Friday the 13th is another one that suffers from too many movies, but there are some really good ones within it. Also, one of the most iconic, one of the top 3 iconic characters in Halloween.
Oh yeah, big time.
Or in horror movies, same thing with Friday the 13th should be brought up as one. I don't know if I had any other one, like The Conjuring. I also was wondering if I could sneak by anything with a shark as a franchise.
No, so if you talk about Sharknado or anything I was going to say
like Jaws, as I'm wearing the shirt, the Meg, Deep Blue Sea. Can I just lump them all as a franchise?
No, that's not how that works.
Well,
that would be good though.
Yeah, that would have been the best one.
That's actually a really good collaboration of movies. All right, so that wraps up our horror genre. All right, all honorable mentions are in. All right, so we'll move on to animated.
Final Destination, real quick, was one other one I had.
A Final Destination's a good one.
It was on my horror
that's a good
list. It was good.
I didn't write that down, but I did think of that, so I'm glad you mentioned it.
I'm going to leave this one off.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you stepped on it because I was going to tell you that you had to leave this one.
So this one actually was the hardest one because I can only think of 3.
Okay.
Because as much as a nerd as I am, I'm also a terrible nerd in things like Shrek and Harry Potter, even though it's not animated. Never seen them. But
it's crazy.
If I'm going on my rule of the most movies in this franchise being great, first I will honorable mention the DC animated universe, the newer series that were all connected.
All right, I'm just going to come out and say it. I was struggling with adding anything Marvel or DC.
Yep.
Just because of the amount of shit that's out there.
There's a lot.
But go ahead. Sorry.
But, so I remember I'm going based on if it's canon amongst themselves.
Yep. I'm okay with that.
So the last series of DC animated movies that started with Flashpoint and then I don't know why Etsy's going crazy. That started with Flashpoint and then went through Son of Batman and all that stuff.
Okay.
Those are strong movies.
Yes.
As a whole. So that's my honorable mention. My number 1 franchise pick for animated movies, Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, Dragon Ball Z, shit.
Starting with Dragon Ball, has about 16 animated movies. All of them.
You just fucked that up.
All of them are bangers.
Fucking loopholes, dude.
All of them.
I didn't think of it.
All of them. And the thing
is, the
Dragon Ball Z movies are only canon amongst each other. Not against a TV show.
Yep.
But all of them, starting with the Dragon Ball movie through the most recent ones, like Super Broly. I saw that in theaters at South Bay. I was the only one in the theater, I think, not high for it. And it was one of the greatest movie experiences ever.
It's a good movie.
I'm really happy you did it because I almost guaranteed you. I thought you were going to Batman animated.
I
kind of thought that, but I like that you did that because Matt didn't do it. So I think that's
so that it's great because I wasn't even going to include it.
Well, I was going to say, as far as Batman animated, it would have been the Mask of Phantasm, but then Sub-Zero, and then the Return of the Joker, Batman Beyond movie, because that's canon amongst those.
Okay. Damn, dude.
Because when I was kind of running through it, I was like, the DC animated, I figured you were going to pick it because I'm like, the Batman movies have been mostly can't miss, I think.
Yes.
The Justice League ones I haven't been a huge fan of, but the Batman ones themselves are normally really solid.
Batman versus Robin, Son of Batman, all of it. They nail it all across the board. Do you want to go second on this one, buddy?
I can.
Sure.
I can, yeah. There was, it's another one where it's tough because there's one franchise, and I might leave it because I'll leave it till after you give yours because I don't want to give one out.
Okay.
But there was one that I'd when we initially was like, okay, these are the categories. This movie popped in my head, and I was like, it's got to be it. But the more and more I thought about it, I came to another franchise that I think I've just grown to love more. So what I've chosen for my top animated series is the Resident Evil animated franchise.
Not surprised at all.
Because I love the games, hate the movies, the live action.
The live action, dude.
They're really bad, and none of them follow actual Resident Evil lore at all. Yeah. It's just it's a fucking glossy project for a guy to give his wife.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, we've talked
you
about
know?
it at length.
Today, so this is July, we're filming, and they just released yesterday the latest addition to the. So we got the 4-episode season of the animated series that's
dropped on Netflix,
a continuation of these 3 movies. I'm 2 episodes into that. It's good so far.
You talked about that on the show. Yeah, I gotta give that a watch.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, like, it's only 4 episodes. It's about 2 hours, so it's essentially another movie just broken into 4 parts.
Yeah.
It's been good so far. I just think the adaptation of Leon in this is great. Claire is really good. And then when you get to the 3rd movie, it's shortly after John Wick has come out, and the action sequences in it are just unreal. And you can do all of that same close quarters, hand-to-hand combat, but with animation.
I remember
you can do whatever you want, dude. And it's like it's mind-blowing, the action sequences you get in it. I think the suspense is there. It follows the lore really well. So yeah, that'll be my pick for animation.
No, that's a great pick, and it's definitely no surprise to me just because I know how much you love that series of movies. So that's a good.
I would
pick.
tell, like, even if you're not a Resident Evil fan, if you're just like an action animated series fan, I think it's a good one to watch.
All right, well, mine is pretty commercial in the sense that when I was thinking about animated movies, there's a lot of different things that I was thinking about, but it really came down to 1 through 3. Again, I've said it already. If you're gonna enjoy it, and can you recommend it to someone else, and this is something that you can still watch today. And to me, I'm coming at you with another Mike Myers hit.
I was about to say Mike Myers list.
I'm going Shrek.
Yeah.
You're going Shrek? Okay.
Yeah, so the first one is
I didn't
really
think that's where you were going.
It's really unique because it's an animated movie, but you can tell it's not for kids.
Yes.
There's a lot of little jokes, a lot of little Easter eggs in there. You know, I still see
Eddie
memes.
Murphy is.
He nails it as the donkey, one of the best animated characters to date. And when you get to the 2nd and the 3rd ones, they don't really lose that momentum. They more or less just take it into the next movies. The 2nd one, where you're getting Shrek and Fiona as humans, great take and great perspective, understandable storyline. Then when you get the 3rd one, Shrek doesn't want to be king, but he's clearly the only person who can be king. It gives you a great outlook on how this character has developed, and at the end of it, you just genuinely enjoy these 3 movies. Now, since they've come out with Puss in Boots, they've come out with a couple of different ones that I'm not 100% on board with, but
Antonio Banderas is cool though.
I'm always going to support the B, you know? So that's my pick for animated. With my honorable mention, go ahead, sorry.
I swear, I just figured I didn't say Toy Story earlier.
That's my honorable mention.
I thought you were going to say that.
That's my honorable mention.
Especially even in the build-up, I was like, well, this has got to be Toy Story. Because that's literally like, I was like, when I thought of this category and I thought of animation, it's hard for me to think of, like, even like though I love, like, on a personal level, the Resident Evil thing, on a quality standpoint, what's better than Toy Story?
There really is nothing, man, because
1 through 4.
1 through 4 is spot on.
Not to mention the shorts. They have a whole section of shorts on Disney Plus.
I think the only thing that kept me from making it number 1 was the amount of time that we had from the first 2 to the 3rd to the 4th. Where it almost...
I think that's more impressive.
No, it's impressive in the sense that it still holds up. But to me, Shrek was able to do it one after the other, continuing a culture almost of fandom to where you can still see memes of Shrek now, right? So to me, that's how it gets my pick.
You said you wanted to come back to an honorable mention. And
Toy Story was going to be the one I wanted to come back to because I think unanimously it's got to be like... the first 2 that I wrote down were Shrek and Toy Story.
Got it.
They were the first 2 animated franchises from a quality standpoint, from a content standpoint that came to mind. I did have a couple other ones I wanted to throw by you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought Monsters, Inc. deserved a little bit
of
a throw-in as far as just classic animated movies. And then lastly, I had a throwback. The Rescuers.
Yeah.
Dude, Rescuers Down Under.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best.
I didn't even acknowledge the first one when I was a kid because I love the second one.
The Down Under
one
is so good, right?
Dude,
so good.
Golden Eagle, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's,
like I just, dude, like there's some of those movies that you had on VHS when you were a little kid that you played out way more than any of the other ones.
Oh yeah.
And that was like very high. It was like that, and like weirdly, like Fern Gully was another one that was like super.
Second
I was
one's
super
terrible.
into. Yeah, no, you're right. But
that
like
first one is so
Fern Gully
good.
1 is so good, and it reminds me a lot of like the Rescuers universe. Kind of feels.
Why am I
similar
oddly
to
attracted to you
Yeah,
right
no,
now?
I
This
do.
is really weird.
That's why we do a podcast together because we clearly grew up watching the same shit.
It's really weird, dude.
That makes sense.
That's a great honorable mention, dude.
Do you guys have any other ones?
Archer, I'll let you go ahead.
No, really, I had DC on here twice. because I had the original Kevin Conroy Batman series, and then I had the new DC EU.
Yeah, the only other one that came to mind, and I didn't really bring it up as an honorable mention, but I can enjoy all of them, is the Despicable Me / Minions franchise. They do a great job in 1 and 2, and then they give you this Minions movie, which when you're watching, you're like, what the hell am I watching? But it ends up actually being a decent movie. So
I think I just kind of missed the boat a little on the Despicable Me stuff. Like I've watched them with other people, like at family party type things. I feel like
Steve
when the
Carell
kid when you put movies on for the kids to kind of watch, right? And he's great. Like Steve Carell is obviously hilarious, and I thought the movie for the most part it is one of those movies. Obviously, with a lot of animated movies, they have to cater the jokes to the adults, but also the animation and stuff to draw the kids in. And I think that's a movie that does a good job.
It's so fluffy, I'm gonna die.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Oh,
that's how
I've
feel.
seen that meme.
Oh yeah, big time.
So that's what I've got.
But yeah, that's what I've got for animated. So it seems like we all were kind of simmering around the same pot, but we all fell on different chairs, it seems like. All right, so we'll move on to what I think is probably the most hotly anticipated one of this this top 5.
Do you want me just to get out of the way early? Because I feel like I have the easiest.
Yeah, dude, I would say you're the middleman and you're just coming in between.
Like I have plenty of honorable mentions that we can get into after, but there's only one that I could really put. This sucks, dude, because I've got myself just in a hole. Like I have to pick the certain movies.
Well, nobody's gonna judge you, dude.
Is it Harry Potter?
It is Harry Potter. It's not even a guess, dude. This is why I said let's get him out of the way real quick.
Dude, that's like it sucks, dude, because like I can't even have an interesting take because it's just like I love Harry Potter. I've read the books as recently as like a year ago.
Yeah.
I've watched the movies through every single year since they came out. But like I will point out, there's never been a book in my lifetime. There's been 2 books that I can come to mind that really drew this kind of crowds when it came out, like release anticipation, stuff like that. Like Harry Potter, when the books were coming out was like a movie,
dude,
midnight release.
Might as well have been Jordan's on a Saturday.
Like dude. I would make my mother bring me to fucking Barnes and Nobles at midnight on the day of the release, and we would buy the book. Like who?
What a nerd, am I right?
But seriously, like what when we were younger got kids like out to a bookstore at midnight reading books, right? And then when you go back in your head and you think about major midnight releases at the movies. They're some of the first ones that did it. Was like the demand was so high that they were like, we can have you show up at midnight. And I would show up to the movie theater near here, and it'd be a line like out the movie, around the corner, people dressed up. Like it was fucking nuts. Like it was just a whole phenomenon. So as far there's obviously a million great sci-fi franchises, fantasy franchises, but I would be inauthentic if I did not say Harry Potter is my favorite.
Everybody's got a place to sit, right? And that was just yours, man. It's okay.
I feel like most people watching the show would say Harry Potter, I think.
I think Harry Potter changed like an entire fandom.
Anybody in the ages of like 25 to 35, I think can fall into that bracket of like maybe read it. When I said like other franchises, like I think it's similar. Like Twilight did something similar. Not that it's popular like amongst like obviously males,
but bookstores, big time.
Yeah, like in terms of drawing like teenagers out to want to read a book, like I think Twilight did. I
mean, you almost got to think that like Harry Potter, Twilight kind of set the stage for something like Game of Thrones, where the book was so huge.
We grew into those
exactly.
What we read then,
it's a great setup. I think I'll jump in here in the middle.
You guys are gonna probably be a little more contentious.
No, for this one. At the end of the day, I knew what I was going to choose, but because we have 2 topics or categories here that kind of intertwine with each other, for me, this one was a no-brainer from the first franchise to the second franchise that they released. For me, Sci-Fi Fantasy lands on The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's got to be up there. Yeah,
to me, Lord of the Rings brings back a different memory because the first 3 movies, my grandmother was obsessed with them. Like, bought the books, watched the movies, bought the DVDs, bought the extended cuts.
How, Steve? So like, just because Matt, you clearly heard about it. Like, so had your grandmother read them before they came out?
No.
Okay.
No.
Did you have like my aunt loved, like, she grew up on like sci-fi, like reading sci-fi. So like those Star Wars books, like and then like Lord of the Rings and stuff. So I already had kind of this like person to be like, when I saw the first trailer, go and ask like, what's this all about?
What's this about? Yep. And the way that she followed the movies was like, oh, we bought the first movie, oh, they have an extended cut, I've got to buy that too. I kind of had a different relationship with the movies where I didn't watch them when they first came out, but watching the 3 as a set, I would lose weekends with my grandmother just watching those movies. So they have a different feel to me. And to me, the storyline carries over into the Hobbit franchise, where not a lot of people like it.
Yeah.
But for me, 1 through 3, after second, third, and fourth watch, I can still enjoy it.
That's where the series lost me.
I've never seen any of the Hobbits because of how, first of all, like I thought the trailers were all bad.
Yeah.
And then I never heard a positive thing about them. So as far as
they
like
get a lot of
when we talk about like if you're gonna pick that as your number one, like it's got to be all the whole shebang. And like the first 3, you're right, classics. Like that stands alone. I'm literally rewatching them currently, slowly but surely, because the extendeds are so long.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That I've been like over about a month. I've been kind of slowly working my way through it. But after I finish those 3, I can't necessarily imagine myself, even though I've never seen The Hobbit, really wanting to get into it.
Yeah.
I think I would be more likely to read the book.
Yeah, and I think that's a common sentiment, right? A lot of people don't like that Hobbit series. For me, it's a series that if I watch the first one as a standalone movie, I put no context to it. Decent movie. Skip over the second one, jump to the third, same condition. Movie that I can enjoy.
The difference here, and like we were talking in our other episode we did about like Marvel, but like the difference here is like you can't really look at those in their own as standalone, because all 6 of those movies should work together as one.
Yeah, I get that.
And that's the difficult thing, where I can't watch the first one, then ignore the second and watch the third, because I can't do the same. The same thing I would say is like my other gripe with The Lord of the Rings is I think the Fellowship is kind of tough. Like I think the second
Fellowship's
movie,
a lot of character building.
Yeah, like the second movie is awesome, but and I get where you have to get through the character build of the first movie. It's the same thing with Game of Thrones. You said that, right? Like I hate the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Anybody does, yeah,
because they're just slow character build, but you get really good stuff after you make it through those 2 seasons. I think Lord of the Rings is a lot of the same. Watch 2.5 hours of the extended cut of Fellowship, and
you're going to be checked
out. And then you have to get to 2 Towers. You know,
I don't disagree with you there, but that's why it landed at number 1 for me.
My weak link in that original trilogy actually is the third movie.
I think that's another one where it's too long.
Yeah.
In the first hour and a half maybe is really good.
It almost
seems like
because it follows up on 2 Towers, it's really good.
Yeah.
But then to your point, you get so much dialogue and political shit
at the end
to close it out for an hour.
Yeah, and I also thought the fight scenes going one movie to the next were like elevating.
Mm-hmm.
Like that scene.
Helm's Deep.
No.
2 Towers.
No. In the
Fellowship.
So the
third. So in Fellowship. Okay, I know what you're
the Fellowship fight
when they're holding off the waves. Of
and the camera spans over the fight, and you're seeing like
through the woods.
You're like, there's that little fight here. Oh, there's this fight going on there, and the camera's just going. Love that. I just love that shot.
What did you think of the 2 Towers with the view on the wall? Like they're literally holding the wall and everything.
Loved it. 2 Towers. I love everything about that movie.
I think the 2 Towers, that movie
is the high point.
That's the Empire Strikes Back of that series.
Yeah.
That's not a bad.
Because the beginning of like Return of the King, like the scene where they're in the open plain is there, and there's that like I don't know whatever it is, they're riding and like fighting. I think that like stands out really well, right? But outside of that, I don't remember anything from the third one really.
No, the ghost thing, I was like, that's a cheat code. They just they just did up left down, and like the ghost came and wiped out everything.
Like that's the definition of losing to plot.
Yes,
it's like we need to finish this up and wrap it up. Okay, bring on the ghosts. Bring in the ghosts.
So of course, Star Wars is on my list, but based on what you guys were saying, I think I'm going to be the one person to lean into sci-fi here, right? Lord of the Rings is also on my list. My honorable mention will be actually here, Conan the Barbarian, because part 1 and part 2, bangers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to tie in the Jason Momoa
I
one,
was going to say
Jason Momoa one's decent.
It's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
Again,
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Again, I'm going based on like canon amongst each other, so I would only count Barbarian and Destroyer. But if we're going to count in everything under the banner of
it's
Conan,
a decent movie. I'm not going to disagree with you
the
there.
Conan series.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go watch the Arnold ones again. Is it worth it for me to watch the Momoa one again?
I would watch the Arnold ones over the Momoa one again.
I don't know.
I'd watch the Momoa one again.
And if you want to even stretch it and say you want a 4th iteration of that was like adjacent, Red Sonja. Red Sonja is a fantastic movie.
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Give it a shot.
I don't disagree with you.
Arnold's in that movie as like a Conan character.
Okay.
But it's really the Red Sonja is Xena before Xena was Xena.
See, that's where
when they
all
stole
of
that.
those just kind of intertwine for me. Like you have you have the Hercules series, then you have the Xena series.
So that's honestly what I remember more is like Hercules and Xena were like on when I was younger.
And when they did
like,
the crossover, what?
Yeah.
Lose your mind, dude.
Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Okay, so that was your honorable mention?
So I'm going to, on my list, I'm going to go sci-fi on this. And if we're going based on majority movies being good, I'm going to say if you don't like these movies, then you don't like those movies. Like it's either you love them or you hate them. I'm going Blade Runner. Because Blade Runner...
I actually kind of thought I saw this as an opportunity.
Did you?
Go. Yeah, I did.
Because I was like, from a visual perspective, I think both movies like pushed the barrier like when they were released. The last one was kind of hard because you're like, all right, it's been a long time. How are they ever going to tie this in together? And I feel like people who didn't like the second one shouldn't have liked the first one. And I feel like if you did like the first one, then you would like the second one.
I think they're kind of a bit dry. For
they
me.
are, yeah.
And I think especially the 2048 one or whatever was hot. It's a little... I could never really get through it, to be honest with you.
It's a tough one, but that's the thing. That's sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going sci-fi in its purest form, it's that kind of stuff, you know? And that's where, when I saw Sci-Fi Fantasy, I was like, I'm going to put on something on here that, you know, like some people...
off the beaten path.
Some people, like, for example, if you think sci-fi movies, there are some people who are like, oh, well, Dune's like the best sci-fi movie. Dune is boring as hell to me.
Is very, very
but
boring.
if we want to talk
the new
about
one will
sci-fi,
probably be boring as hell, too.
they keep delaying it. Again, that's on my list of...
You're seeing
red
clips,
flags.
too. You're seeing clips.
Yeah. Gotta put,
Another movie that features Dave Bautista too.
Yeah.
He's all
Common
over the place,
thread.
huh?
Common thread there.
I don't know.
But you know what? I didn't mind Army of the Dead. I'm just gonna say. Didn't mind Army of the Dead.
Yeah,
I also on here.
We could get into that another time.
I don't know if it counted as sci-fi and fantasy, but it was on Sci-Fi Channel a lot. I counted Blade,
Yeah, that was up there.
and I wasn't sure if it really
that could go. I think into 3 categories because it could be
Horror or
horror,
Yeah.
blockbuster, or
Yeah.
sci-fi fantasy.
It was popping up on the horror category
Yeah.
for
But
me.
the issue there is Blade 3 is such a step down from
So
Blade
bad.
1 and Blade 2.
Yeah.
So it becomes kind of... And until we get the newer version of it,
which will never happen.
you don't think it's going to come?
Yeah.
Even with the mention of vampires in Loki?
No.
No? Okay.
I think it's not gonna happen at this point. And I mean, Morbius still hasn't come out yet.
But they filmed some of Morbius, I believe, and then like
It's been
Blade.
teased.
But Blade, you have like a pretty big actor
But
attached to the role.
the dude's like 40 something.
Mahershala Ali.
Like 3 years ago when they announced it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're gonna start the franchise with him?
But like Wesley Snipes could do it now, and he's like 60.
But I think a great idea is you get a young person to play Blade. Wesley Snipes plays Whistler. That is my dream. If they're going to continue,
I don't hate that idea either. I didn't really have much else as far as honorable mentions. I did write the Hunger Games because I'm like, weird,
of course you did.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're at the final
Final
countdown.
We have come.
That was
Sorry,
so good. YouTube
sorry.
might flag this.
Jesus.
I actually thought for a moment I was there in the song. I was at a concert.
It's the last thing we needed, right?
1980 something.
Authenticity.
So we have come to the penultimate category. I did it again now.
I know. I'm getting real tired of your shit, dude. To be honest with you.
I'm gonna stop reading dictionaries in my spare time.
Fuck it. I just want to see him pull it out and be like, word of the day.
We've gotten into probably my favorite movie genre.
Yeah.
Historically, I think it's probably anybody's. Like it's
As a avid moviegoer,
Mhm.
I think that's
Well,
where
I was gonna say anybody who loves going to the movies, the summer blockbuster. Not only summer, because now it's a year-round thing. You might get it at Christmas time,
Yeah.
and whatever one. Like, you get a lot of really big ones in like May. I feel like Fast and Furious usually drops April, May. I'm pretty sure, but like, yeah, it's the biggest movie genre. It's the one that draws the most money. It's the one that spans the most other genres. It could be a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into blockbusters. Who wants to go first? Who wants to offer themselves up as what is it in Hunger Games? Help me out. Tribute. Thank you, Steve.
You know
It
what?
was in my top 5 too.
I'll offer myself as tribute.
Oh, you're gonna do? I thought you were gonna do the 3 fingers.
Was
to
it?
the
Yeah.
whistle.
Was it? Sorry. Was it that? I was throwing up I was checking up the traces, dude. The reason why I want to go first is because I feel like this might get spoiled. And when I was looking at the blockbuster choice for my number 1, man, I was falling all over, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I tried my best to kind of steer away from that. But then I found myself, I'm like, I'm just in this other world, which is pretty much the same thing. And Lenny, you've been hinting to it all day. My number 1 for blockbuster, I'd be lying to myself if I didn't choose it, was Star Wars.
Can't say I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know. But from the prequels to the sequels to the movies that have followed, we've talked about Rogue One, we talked about Rise of Skywalker. There's ups and downs, but overall the franchise has never really lost faith, and it has led to a world of different things, whether it's a show, whether it's mini-series. There's a lot of things that you can tune into, so that's why Star Wars lands in at my number one for blockbusters.
Do you want to toss in an honorable?
Yeah, my honorable mention, I kind of felt like I did that with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but my other honorable mention that I had written down, give me 1 second.
I think MCU is just like a default.
It's I think a lot of people would put it there.
Yeah.
I feel like none of the three of us did.
No.
It seemed too easy.
It is on my list.
Yeah, you can't not mention. Okay, like it could be a category of its own.
It really could. You could have your own top 5 for Marvel movies in the Marvel universe, right?
Yeah.
But the one that came to me was the Return or the Dark Knight series. So from Batman Begins to the Dark Knight to the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I felt like 1 through 3 did a fantastic job.
That
with it.
feels like a movie that would be a popular pick across a lot of people's lists.
I just feel like part 1's really hard to watch.
Really,
it's hard to watch, but it sets it up.
I
perfectly.
like 1 and 2 better than I like 3.
The ending to 3 is hard.
The build up to 3 though is really
you're right, and
good.
like I love I think I really wanted to see like more from Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and what they were doing with that character. There's just a lot of stuff that was promised in 3 that doesn't pay off the way that you want it to, and I feel like the performance from Liam Neeson and from Christian Bale in the first movie is really strong.
I do like that. Yeah, it was the Scarecrow part that I was like,
yeah, but he's
good.
That's
something that you can overlook.
Good,
yeah, because at the end of the day, he's not the big bad.
That's
so
true.
To find out that Ra's al Ghul is the big bad, and there's this, this ghost from Christmas Past kind of thing going on, it set up the franchise perfectly.
Yeah, the Star Wars one, man, like I 100% understand going with it. I do think that it's a very polarizing option.
Yeah.
Because you're either a person like you guys who can tell me anything I ever want to know about Star Wars, right? You love the franchise, you watch everything.
Love it to a fault.
Yeah,
fault,
especially
time.
No offense, Steve, but to a fault. Like you've watched more YouTube videos about hating
Yeah.
Star Wars than anybody I know.
Part of the reason I created a YouTube channel was restarted making YouTube. I was like, all these people are making money talking about the freaking Rise of Skywalker or Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And it blew and I think that's where I get to it's so polarizing is that it spans so much that there's just I think it's 50-50 good and 50-50 bad.
Yeah.
And then that's where it's hard to put it. It comes back. It's the same thing I'm gonna struggle with, right? Where there's on a quality standpoint, I think The Dark Knight's a better overall franchise just from a movie, but there's only 3 movies.
Yeah.
So where could it go wrong?
Yeah.
Whereas with yours, you have to take into consideration animated TV series that are canon. You have to take into consideration 9 movies that are canon, more than that now, right?
Yeah. At this point, we're 11
canon, right?
11.
And there's portions of the trilogies that are just hated.
Yeah.
So that I definitely respect putting it there because it's going with your heart, not just with your mind.
Yeah. When you talk about a ticket of authenticity, that's what it is for me. So I'm putting you to the fire now, Steve. I need to know what topped your blockbuster.
So I can't not mention all the this was the easiest 5 to make.
Really?
Not because I was like these are the only 5, but because on my list I was like all of these are great and they all can go on here. Star Wars did not make my blockbuster list because I was telling Lenny when we went to the restroom that to make the list, as a recap to all of you, I said majority of movies had to be really good. Majority had to be bangers.
Okay.
I can't say that about Star Wars, the movies.
No, I'm with that. I can agree with that.
So on the honorable mention lists, MCU, we mentioned that. Again, most movies are not that good. The ones that are good are fucking awesome.
I mean, when you're talking about 36 movies, though,
it's a lot.
It's a
lot.
That's a lot.
So, honorable mention, I think one of the greatest trilogies ever made because it covered all loopholes. Back to the Future. There's no way that's people can. I don't think anybody hates that movie franchise.
I thought you were going to say a different franchise, and it makes me kind of want to take a stab at what I think yours is.
Do you want to?
I feel like I figured it out.
What is it going to be? Because I still have 2 more honorable mentions before I get to the.
Can I guess an honorable mention?
Yeah.
And I might steal. I don't want to steal your actual top ones.
No, go ahead.
Indie.
Wow.
Oh, this got awkward.
I heard what you were saying there, and I'm like, dude, it's like, it clicked.
That's
and I don't blame you. It's just like, because I think the same thing you were saying about Back to the Future. I just like it. I don't know, I feel bad stealing the thunder. Like
that's my number 1.
It's got like,
wow.
My only argument to you would be
you guys
Crystal
fucking
Skull.
or what?
Yeah, I have a pretty good gauge on Steve. I think at this point we've spent many a Monday night with me drinking, talking about movies that I have a pretty good.
No,
gauge.
that's why we knew this would be interesting.
Harrison Ford list to your Mike Myers list.
Okay,
it's
I'm
like,
with it.
But you don't think like the 4th one strongly diminishes the franchise? Or do you just write that out?
It's so diminished that I think most people forget it exists. And if I think about the original 3...
So you're saying the original 3 hold up?
They stand so strong. Now, here's the thing.
They do.
There's a new one coming out, which I talked about on the Animated Apparel Company YouTube channel. But there's a new one coming out, and I'm like, if that one sucks...
I think I caught a clip of you talking about this, right?
That could really change...
Because he got hurt again.
Got hurt. Off the shoulder or whatever.
I mean, the man crashes a million planes. Doesn't get hurt. Like, fuck's going on?
So that's where I'm like, you know what? If I'm thinking the original 3, they're so strong that weak link I don't think is weak enough.
And you know what's, man? I think it's the perfect pick. Like I really do, because man, it influences so much, and it just kind of goes back to like some of the stuff I took into consideration with the movie like Scream or even Scary Movie, where like Indiana Jones is impacted. Like Tomb Raider wouldn't probably be a thing without Indiana Jones. Yeah, there's another one. You also get Uncharted.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that has come from Indiana Jones and Indy himself, and it's like Harrison Ford, his whole career, like he is Indy.
Dr. Jones.
Like that's who it, you know, I 100%,
Some would say he's Han Solo, but I get what you're saying.
Like it clicked to me because I know how good the movie is, and I know that you do love it, but like, I think you're one of, and like each movie is different.
Yeah.
I think is another great thing about it. It's like there's action, it's a horror movie, it's comedy, like it spans all genres. So yeah, awesome.
The other 2 I will just say that were on the list. The Rocky franchise. Because again, majority I think
I have it on mine.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. And another one where if you flash forward to where we are in the world now, it's only aged better because of Creed.
Which I hated the first viewing, by the way.
Did you?
Absolutely hated it. First viewing.
Interesting.
But you've grown to appreciate it.
Second movie didn't.
It's fine.
It's good, but it doesn't do anything better.
Is awesome.
Yes.
Like that's the thing for me, is seeing like you have to teeter a line of making it fresh and new, but also giving us nostalgic viewers something to look for, and getting this revisiting of Dolph in that role is awesome. And Bridget Nielsen, and like
shameless plug for Dolph Lundgren, Kindergarten Cop 2. Saying it's pretty good.
Where do you get off, dude?
I just talked to somebody about it like a week ago. But yeah, that would have been on my list too.
Final movie on my honorable list. Sam Raimi Spider-Man. 3rd movie, weak as fuck. But the first 2 are that good that I think it offsets the 3rd.
The 2nd is still considered and doesn't. I think it's been watered down, not watered down, but like washed away a little bit now because of how many superhero
what's
movies
coming
we
out.
get.
Yeah,
yes.
big
But
time.
I think unanimously still considered one of the best ever made. The tough thing is Tobey Maguire walking through that park.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you talking about when he's doing the snapping and the
dancing?
Man,
I just don't know if I can put it up there where like
even just the final fight scene. You're like, we're fighting Sandman, we're fighting Green Goblin, and dude just like, I don't want to fight anymore. Yeah, like that's the ending.
Like you single-handedly took 2 of the most badass like villains from a comic series. That's what I was about to say. You took 2 of the most badass villains from that series and you destroyed them, softened them up like baby shit.
But they get a chance to rewrite it now, right?
True.
Like that's what we're gonna get.
Doesn't make it right, Len.
We're probably getting like a rewriting of some of that terrible movie, I assume at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it. I don't think it makes it right.
So like mine's probably the least suspenseful of anybody. I really, can I just change mine?
Dude.
I'm not changing. Fuck you. I'm not. I'm changing mine.
Okay.
I'm changing mine, dude. So everybody wants it to be the Fast and the Furious, dude. Everybody just thinks I have.
It's not that everybody wants it to be. That's what it is.
That's what it was going to be.
You can't just make my top 5 be.
All right, Lenny. What's number 2 in your top 5? Go ahead.
No, it's not number 2. It's what overtaken. All right, I will say on the defense of Fast and the Furious.
Was that a pun intended? That you overtook that one?
So I will say this in defense of the Fast and Furious. You already said this. Like, I think on a general majority, they're all pretty good. And if you like one, like you said 3 and on, I would say more so 4 and on. Mm-hmm. When you have the return of Dom and Brian, is when everything ramps up and you get a certain style of movie. But the first one, still really good. Second one, while not good,
Too Fast and Furious is dope.
Has some of the most quotable lines of any of them in it.
Ejectocito, cuz! Sorry, I needed to do it.
Yeah. Pockets ain't empty, cuz.
Pockets ain't empty, cuz.
I love that movie.
So like, there's just some really, really quotable lines, and then you get the all-out action of all of the other ones that follow. Is it a little over the top at this point? Is it a little much? Yes, but that's what a blockbuster movie is. But my real number one, gentlemen.
I honestly have been racking my brain to figure out what else you could have on your list.
I hate these moments because I'm like, he's going to say something. I'm like, son of a bitch. I should have known that.
Steve, what's more over the top?
The only other possible option here has to be
what's more
a little dinosaur related.
No, that was in there.
No, it's Die Hard.
No, that's on my list.
No?
Dude, no.
It's not Jurassic Park?
No.
Oh, see, okay. Yeah, if it's not Die Hard, it's not Jurassic Park. What is it? What's your number 2?
Mission Impossible, baby.
See, I don't know if I'm okay with that, dude.
What?
The fact that you gave up Fast and the Furious for Mission Impossible, I don't believe that.
Can we
one iota.
That's the first pick on any of our lists that we're like, no.
No.
You're wrong.
It's not even close.
You are wrong.
No.
Brother.
You are wrong.
I would have taken Jurassic Park. I would have taken Godzilla.
No.
You are definitively wrong, then. You are definitively wrong.
Mission Impossible 1, one of my favorites.
It's good.
It's actually my favorite.
Mission Impossible 3, really good.
I like 2 as well.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, awesome. 2's not that great because it's shot. It's so different. It's stylized and it's weird. But then same rules that apply to Fast and the Furious. That if you like the 4th one, you like every other one. 4, 5, and 6.
I can't tell you the differences in the plots, too,
dude.
But I can't
6 is so good. Like 6 was my movie of the year, I think.
So what is it? It's Mission. So after 3, it's Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, Rogue
which is
Nation,
awesome, and then Fallout. Yes.
Okay.
Ghost Protocol, dude. I am telling you from a quality standpoint, 5 of 6 of them are great.
Here's the thing: I think for all of you at home, again, let us know down below if you agree with that pick. I don't think that Matt and I are saying that these are bad movies by any stretch of the imagination. But I think what we're saying is there's no way that those rank above.
They are better in quality than Fast and the Furious.
That's true, but a lot of things are. But in your hearts,
I love both of them.
You're all about family.
I am, dude. I'm hella about family.
And there's no way.
Dude, you don't need a different pick when you've got family.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you that I can, I don't feel bad about this. I can have both, baby.
If
I can have my cake and eat it too.
If my friend Serge sat there and said that his favorite franchise was Mission Impossible, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Because he loves espionage and spies and all that.
All right, well, tell Serge to watch this and agree with me.
This is the equivalent of me going, Star Trek is my number 1, and you've never heard me talk about Star Trek.
But that's bullshit because I have talked about Mission Impossible. I do love Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Dude, the only reason we're talking about Fast as much as we do on this program is because there's a relevant movie coming out. Give me a couple weeks until the trailer comes out for the new Mission Impossible, and I'll be talking about that all the time.
Since when did we become a program?
Fuck.
Pretty sure we're a channel, a network.
Don't give me this shit that Mission Impossible is a bad pick because it's not.
No, it's not true pick to your heart, dude. We both know this. Listen,
we think your heart lies somewhere else.
We can say all we want to.
You're the only person I know that goes to watch Jurassic Park in theaters.
I'm not the only one who does that, Steve.
I'm the only one I know.
The animated series.
You watched the animated series.
Nobody would have known about it if it wasn't for you.
Until your show.
Well, you should watch it because
that's exactly what I'm saying. We know that Mission Impossible is not even your top 3 as far as blockbusters.
If Tom Cruise put out an animated version of Mission Impossible, I would fucking watch it.
I would watch that too.
Yeah, dude. I'm just saying, I love Tom Cruise. I love Mission Impossible. The fact that he does all of his own stunts. That here's an issue with Fast and the Furious, and why I would take it down a notch on this. It's become not practical whatsoever.
Yeah, correct.
Right?
It's Mission the same Impossible, reason that you told me to just keep watching it.
No, so there's a place for that, and I do love the movies, but I can also appreciate what Tom Cruise does from a stunt perspective, in that it makes all of those action sequences so much better, knowing that the guy that I'm watching is the same guy who's performing, is the character.
I'll give you that.
Like, I think that should be attributed there. And
Listen.
from an action standpoint, dude, the fight sequence with Henry Cavill in 6, unreal.
I'm pretty sure.
I love the movies.
I'm not disagreeing with
we
you.
love the movies.
All right,
Listen,
can we just do some honorable mentions?
All right,
Yeah,
all
let's
I'm gonna
go.
say.
I've been tarnished, and
All I'm
and
gonna say
fucking-
in at least 25 states, there's a stand your ground rule. You can do that all you want to, dude. It's okay. We know that you love the Fast
All
and
right,
the Furious.
do you have any that you're on your list, dude? Die Hard
I
didn't
ran
make
through
your
mine.
list. Like Die Hard's on my list.
Yeah,
No, I think
I have
ran
2
through
more that
mine.
I haven't
Too
said.
many shitty Die Hard movies.
All right, so I have. That's why I didn't say it. It's
So what
really
do you
just
got?
I love the first one.
What do you got?
mostly. And I
1
like
and
the
3.
1, 3, and 4. Olympus Has Fallen. I had that on my list because it's just the most true to form action movie
I do
I've
love
ever
that
seen.
scene. Is it the second one where when he's going down the street to
Yeah,
get into the
second one.
building and the camera follows him?
Yeah,
that's a great
second one.
That's great.
Dude, the scene on the White House lawn in the first one where
Yeah.
they're just
That's a
mowing
good
down
scene. Yeah,
endless
that's a good
lines of like it's the most comical thing in the world. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just that's about as blockbuster like action movie
Yeah,
as you get, and the
yeah.
fact that even the third one might be the best of all 3 of them
Didn't even know it was
is
good.
interesting. It's
Yeah.
on Netflix, free. Watch it.
Yeah.
Last one, John Wick.
I thought about that. Because of consistency.
Mhm.
I thought about
Yeah.
it.
That revolutionized again, like not revolutionized because it took something that like we would know from the
Right.
90s. What makes 90s movies better in some ways is because of the fact that they didn't have the special effects.
Correct.
They had to film everything from a practical, real standpoint.
Yeah.
That's John Wick to me. That's the same thing where I say about Mission Impossible, though, for that matter, is like kind of the same idea.
Same
know?
thing I would say about even, if we're gonna go into the MCU thing, like something that made Daredevil great.
Yes.
The hand-to-hand, close combat.
The fact that I can see what's happening. It's not quick cuts left and right. And like,
And there's something to like the movies when you see, like I said, the actors doing it.
Yeah.
Like Revenge of the Sith. Like that, they rehearsed that
Yeah.
final
Yes.
one-on-one fight.
Between him and
so
Anakin,
much
yeah.
that they actually, I didn't even know this one. Phantom Menace, actually. Ewan McGregor and I forget
Liam
his name.
Neeson.
No,
the guy who played
the
Darth
guy who
Maul.
played
Oh,
Maul.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that.
Ewan McGregor was so dedicated to that,
Yeah.
and they rehearsed it so much that they actually slowed down the footage because they were going so fast. That's how
That's
much
dope.
they
That's
had
dope.
it down. So I can respect whenever it's like,
I just when you can really see,
You can see it.
and you can because there's sometimes where you can tell it's a stunt double or you
Right.
can tell it's CGI.
Right.
Like that's the thing I said to you earlier with Marvel is sometimes
say
the
that,
issue, man.
Yeah,
Is
that
like,
makes sense.
and that's where I take some of these other franchises. Even that's where I knock down Fast and the Furious a
Yeah.
peg, where it's just there's a level like they're both great franchises.
yeah,
Both similar in terms of scale and
Right.
like everything, but Mission Impossible are real.
Yeah.
Like he's really doing all.
Yeah.
He learned to hold his breath for like 5 fucking minutes.
for that scene.
He learns to halo jump. The,
The-
man's gonna learn how to fly a fucking spaceship.
The motorcycle with no helmet
Yeah.
through traffic.
Like all of that
Oh,
stuff,
we're not
man.
gonna acknowledge the fact that he suction cupped to a building.
Yeah,
Like that's all just
That's what I
insane.
mean.
That's
But
how.
this
That's
is
how
where-
many stunts are on
dude.
it.
So when I put that at the top though, can I just like, I know we gotta get out of here.
It's okay.
The 4th movie, I saw it in the movie theaters, blitzed out of my fucking mind.
Mhm.
You don't say.
And I'll never, dude, I walked in a few minutes late and it's IMAX. And the first thing I see is like he's doing the thing where he's breaking into the Kremlin.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's running away from the Kremlin
It's
and the whole
exploding,
building's
dude.
blowing up.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what is going on
Yeah.
right now? And then like you can feel it, like your palms sweat. Like when we watched what's the Alex Holland movie where he climbs the Free Solo?
Yeah,
When we watched Free Solo,
Oh man,
right? I got the same feeling from watching Tom Cruise on the side of that building.
That building.
That
yes.
because of the way they film it, you hear the wind whistling
When
by.
it's not
Like
even
you
that. When you hear his glove
Such a-
shut down.
Yeah.
blow away.
Oh,
But
dude.
it's just like you feel how high up in the air he is, and like
Okay.
I just think that's something like you don't get that. Like when Fast and Furious 7, when he jumps from building to building with the car,
That's okay.
it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah,
there's
that's
any
true.
like
Right, that's true.
like tension in the air, right? Like it's just another action
you've
scene.
pulled in a very reasonable reason for why you put
It's my top
Mission
5,
Impossible.
I'm
man.
still not gonna accept it.
All right, man. I'm not gonna accept it either. I think
Fuck
Archer and
you
I are together on this one, dude. You're not getting any flack for
Tom
this one.
Cruise, if you want to come on the show and talk about it,
Yeah, jump on my
Let us
table.
know how you feel, dude.
Yeah.
Stand up on the
honestly.
table and yell at me.
Yeah,
I love Lenny Dance.
he would stand on the table and still be shorter than we are.
I mean, the man knows how to put together
He'd
movies.
probably break
dude.
his leg jumping on table.
So,
Yeah.
all right, gentlemen, that rounds out our top 5.
It does.
How do you guys feel coming out of it.
I am ecstatic. I would love to know how people at home feel about it. Let us know if whose top 5 is the best. Mine, obviously, but let us know at home who you've liked. Drop it in the comments what your top 5 might be. Hit us up on social media wherever we might find you. This has been a fucking blast, though, boys.
Dude, it makes me sad that it has to end.
Yeah, all good things, though.
But where can they find you, Archer?
Sorry, I was trying to think of a movie franchise we probably did not mention, but I think
we did that already.
We
it's
covered
called
a
honorable
lot of
mentions.
them, There's not one left in the whole pantheon. You named ones I didn't even think about.
Yeah. All right, so you can find me at youtube.com/HeyArcher. We have HeyArcher live every Thursday at 8 p.m. 2-minute reviews, unboxings, all that fun stuff's there.
Would you rathers?
Would you rather? Yep.
My favorite segment every week.
There you go. But if you want to just more nerd out, kind of like dialogue like what we did today, head over to Nerd Affiliated on YouTube. That's my vlog series where I do photography stuff. And I also started toy hunting on there. So check that out.
Oh, snap. Treasure hunting's going down.
If you want to find some crazy collectibles, check this man's channel out, please.
Hey, he's not too bad behind the camera.
Or too bad on the eyes.
But neither are we. And you can find us where, Len?
Good Taste Live on Twitter.
And at For Those With Good Taste on Instagram.
We're also on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, Pandora, iHeartRadio.
Do the thing.
Deezer.
Do the thing.
These nuts.
Sorry, I forgot to mention something in the couple hours that we've been here. For like content, you guys should build that on camera.
We're way ahead of you on that, buddy.
Okay,
yeah.
sure.
We'll tell you the deal.
I didn't tell you guys what it is. I just pointed at it.
We'll tell you the deal, dude. We got an idea, Steve.
All right.
But thanks for teasing that for us. Also, check out 321 Spoiler, our other little video series we put out on here. We just did an episode a few weeks back on the movie The Kings of Summer. Kind of difficult to find, but 100% worth the rent. And the episode is maybe one of the best we ever put out, if my humble opinion.
My humble opinion also seconds that motion.
Co-signed.
But this has been another amazing episode of Top 5 here in Good Taste Studios. You can find us on the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit us in the chat with the comment, and then hit the like button, and then get the hell out of here because we're done.
Hit the bell.
Notifications. Turn the bell on.
Hit the bell. Sorry, this is why we bring in the pros.
We gotta get a code bell. We gotta
get a real bell. Cowbell?
Yeah.
Cowbell?
Yeah, you got it.
What are you saying there, buddy?
That's good. I'm good.
But until next time, guys, we're out of here. We'll catch you next time. Later, you filthy monkeys.
Peace. Love you. That's maybe weird. Don't call them monkeys, dude.
For those with good taste.